Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, during Women's Month, we're celebrating courageous and inspirational South African women who have overcome hardships in their life to uplift their community. Vanessa Lynch is one such individual who, after the murder of her father, sought ways in which to meaningfully contribute towards the alleviation of crime in South Africa through the implementation and development of our country's national DNA criminal intelligence database. Through her DNA project. In 2013, she successfully passed her DNA bill through the National Assembly and created South Africa's DNA Act. She's here joining us in studio to share her story and tell us more about her work. Vanessa Lynch, good morning. Welcome to Expresso.
Hi, thank you.
Wow, you know what? A lot of people will look at the story and think it is triumph over immense evil in your life. But take us back to 2004. The murder of your father. This is what started this entire process, right?
Yes, it was. I was a commercial lawyer previously, and as many people in South Africa are affected by crime, our family was one of those statistics. And it was a robbery in my parents' home, and my father was shot several times. He did survive a few hours and later died. And a couple of weeks later, due to the fact that there was no evidence that had been collected on the crime scene, and this is not pointing fingers at the police because there were a number of factors involved. People cleaned up the crime scene after my dad had been taken to the hospital. The clothing my father had been wearing had been discarded at the hospital, and that contained forensic DNA evidence. A bottle the perpetrators had been drinking from in the garden had been thrown away because they weren't aware that DNA evidence could be uplifted from it. And first crime scene responders come rushing into your house and you don't know what was left behind or taken away. So when they closed the file because there was no evidence that had been collected, I started looking at why so many crimes in South Africa remain unsolved and why people weren't accountable. And there's so much evidence left on a crime scene, specifically DNA evidence, biological evidence, which is the most amazing form of evidence. We literally shed cells, hair, blood, saliva, semen, especially in violent crime. And sort of looking overseas, I realized that investigators couldn't conceive of solving a crime without the use of DNA. So I gave up my full-time career as a commercial lawyer and started the non-profit DNA project together with the Change a Life Trust, which has funded us and enabled us to do what we've done. And essentially looked at how can we use this incredible technology in South Africa.
You're right. I think we watch shows like CSI and we think that this is commonplace everywhere. But you actually quit your job in commercial law in order to pursue getting this act passed.
Absolutely. I think that I don't stand alone. I think there are many people who are driven by adversity, and it's good to be able to turn something so bad into something good. We are all affected by crime in this country, and I think we can triumph over evil, as you correctly stated. The minority of people in this country are the criminals. We are the majority. We need to stand up and take it back. And in that way, we can also make people accountable. And through the use of a forensic DNA database, where we collect crime scene samples at a crime scene, and we put those profiles onto a DNA database. And when I say we, I mean the South African police do this. We can continuously search those profiles against people who've been arrested or convicted offenders. And in so doing, we can identify serial offenders at a much earlier stage of their criminal career. And you know, these terrible statistics in terms of people being raped and a serial offender only being caught 19 times later. We can stop that, and I'm seeing the results from the time that I started this project to now. I can really see that it's being used to its best advantage.
I can imagine. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining us today. You have done something that is incredible and will continue to positively affect the lives of many, many, many people to come, born out of your own tragedy. So we just want to say that we're so sorry for what happened to you, but you are doing amazing work. Thank you, thank you. Wow. Vanessa Lynch, of course, the founder of the DNA Project, doing some incredible things and chatting to us on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. So much more to come. Guys, what do you have?